Recording in progress.
Welcome in to the latest episode of the Betting the Pitch Soccer Podcast. I'm your host, Real_G Warner. Tonight, we are going through Late Night with Real_G Warner as usual. We're 12-6-1, 67% on our ultimate best bets end of show. Take my favorite pick from tonight's episode, Premier League, midweek this week, a makeup match, or an Englische Woche as they call it in Germany. La Liga in Spain has a couple matches making up for the early trip to Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, or whatever blood money country they're having it. Coppa Italia has a few matches, as does a big slate of the DFB German Cup, the DFB Pokal. So I'll be taking my favorite pick from each of those leagues, tournaments, whatever we're calling it, smashing it together for the end of the show. And there will be a 1 minute or so type of YouTube short at the Real_G Warner, Instagram Real at the Real_G Warner. And of course, you can get the full episodes on Betting the Pitch, Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify. Search those in, hit subscribe, do those sort of things. Not sure what more there is to say other than what a performance from the New England Patriots tonight, though I feel like still a very close game that was not a guaranteed cover despite everything that could go wrong for the New York Giants going wrong. And someone, considering this is a soccer podcast, I'd love to know what the heck happened with Younghoe Koo. But for everyone who's just listening for soccer stuff, that is probably not something you're about. So let's move straight into the English Premier League because that is where the money is. We'll start, go through the entire slate, Tuesday, Wednesday. I believe there's Thursday as well. Then I'll double back through all the other leagues. But we'll start in England with Fulham hosting Manchester City in the opener, a couple games in this window on Tuesday, the 2nd of December. Fulham 1-goal underdogs at home to Manchester City with all the juice. Total in this one is 2 3/4, and it's juiced more heavily to over than it is to under. And let's see, in terms of where we're at with how this number has moved around, I have been watching these since lines have been coming out. Initially opened at Fulham +1, fell down to 3/4 goal underdog, and then came back up to +1. And it's a very juiced +1 right now, which is a little bit surprising because Fulham have not been playing good football. I feel like the results have deserved better, but at a certain point, this is a results business, and they've not looked really great at, I guess, getting anything out of matches. And that's a big problem when Manchester City are starting to look better and better each time they play. So that's a bit of a concern for me. I don't know necessarily that I'm like forever concerned about Manchester City because I made so much money betting against them last year, to be honest. So I don't think I'm that afraid of them. But at the same time, I mean, they've got one of the best managers in football. They have also figured out by bringing in some really great talented players, and even a lot of them haven't even been used or shown up so far this season. And anytime Phil Foden gets hot, that's a really scary thing for me. At this point, I do lean to the Fulham side of things, though. A home underdog is probably, anyone who listens to this podcast, it's pretty obvious that I like those sort of things. But Fulham is a 1-goal, full insurance goal at home is saying something. I don't know that Manchester City are that strong that deserve to be that big of a favorite, but Fulham have certainly caused a lot of problems for themselves, really just not being able to score goals despite doing a lot to build up opportunities. And seems like the goals they concede are pretty poor, maybe undeserved, but they keep happening. And that's something that you can't really get away from until you stop it. So Fulham +1 is of interest to me. I don't know it's going to be enough for me to play. At 3/4 goal underdog, especially with +1s being out there a bunch of times this week since I've been tracking it, I probably would skip. But at +1 towards kickoff, I expect that number to still be there. And that's something I'll be thinking about all day tomorrow. Move next to Bournemouth hosting Everton. Currently Bournemouth a 1/4 goal favorite at home with all the juice. Total in this one is 2.5, and it's juiced more to the under. So where has this number moved? Since I might as well start doing that, I'll keep doing it. Everton were a 1/2 goal underdog with all the juice way back when. They are now down to a 1/4 goal underdog. It seems like it's kind of vacillating between those two numbers. Total in this one is 2.5, and it's been about there this whole time, getting a little bit cheaper juice wise. And I think that's a result of Bournemouth, because I don't think anyone expects Everton to score goals or there to be goals in many Everton matches. At this point for me, I'm still pretty interested in betting Everton unders every time I have an opportunity to do so. I don't see any sort of difference here, especially because Bournemouth, while they have scored goals, still deep down inside, Anthony Iraola is a defensive manager, a defensive brand of football. And I think that all points towards Everton under 2.5 goals. I think I like that more than the side. Move to the nightcap on Tuesday. We have Newcastle. I guess all these matches start within 45 minutes, but still Newcastle, a 3/4 goal favorite at home to Tottenham. Total in this one is 2 3/4, and it's used very heavily to over. very heavily on the Newcastle side. I think at +1, I'm interested in Tottenham. Until then, I'm probably leaning away from it. I did play Tottenham earlier this season in the Carabao Cup, different rosters, bench, backups, things of that nature. The Tottenham goalkeeper, Krinsky, was so bad and really was a big reason why they lost and were eliminated. But Newcastle have been pretty bad themselves, mainly away from home. That's been a knock on them for a while, especially when they play Champions League that they have this season. Tottenham didn't deserve to get into Champions League, but won Europa League against a bunch of mismatched, undermatched sides last year. And it looks like they're kind of paying for it. Thomas Frank is one of the best managers at Brentford or in Brentford's history. It's a big step up to managing a top 6 club, especially with the amount of money behind them. And unfortunately, I've not liked what I've seen. I do think away from home, though, there's probably more value in Tottenham because they don't have to worry about their fans booing them from or whistling them off the pitch or from the entire time that they're out there playing. I think at this point for me, under 2 3/4, my biggest interest in this one. We'll be waiting to see because the juice is pointing towards 3. It would love to get a push on 3 to play under the full 3 goals. And that insurance goal is very important. Moving to Wednesday, we'll start with Brighton. They are a quarter goal favorite at home with all the juice to Aston Villa. Total in this one is 2.5, and it's juiced pretty heavily to over right now, 13 cents versus 3 to the under. All the juice on the Brighton side right now. Brighton have been good this season. Don't know that I'd say they're great. There's a log jam in the Premier League table, or it has been a lot of times this season. So I'm not sure what to take from that. Aston Villa started horribly, couldn't win anything, and then have turned it on since then. They're a different side away from home, but at the same time, I'm still pretty interested in Aston Villa as a road underdog here, and under 2.5, I think is my bigger interest of the two. I think Aston Villa do a great job of playing defensively. That's Unai Emery's calling card, ultimately their manager. When he's not got the best team in the league he's playing in, like at PSG and other places. I think we see a low-scoring game. I think that also points towards the underdog, but certainly to under in that one. Same starting time on Wednesday. Burnley 3/4 goal underdogs at home to Crystal Palace. All the juice on Burnley. Total in this one is 2.25. Juice very heavily to over right now. It looks like that's heading towards 2.5. In terms of movement on this one, Burnley have moved from that 3/4 goal underdog and have gotten more expensive. The juice has climbed. Initially went down a little bit, then climbed back up. In terms of total, we've lost 2.5 and come down to 2.25. And now we're heading likely back towards that 2.5 number. I don't see goals in Burnley matches. I think they play better defensively at home because that certainly will provide them much more energy with a crowd behind them. I don't know what it would take for me to want to play Burnley. I do like home underdogs that I've already admitted on this episode. Crystal Palace certainly are not the dominant goal scoring team. I think I lean to Burnley, if anything, but at this point, the under 2.25 is a much bigger interest for me on this Wednesday card. Move next to Wolves and Nottingham Forest, still at the same time. Wolves quarter goal underdogs at home with all the juice, almost all the juice. Total in this one is 2.25, and it's used very heavily to over. So two teams that have played really horribly to start the year were both languishing in the relegation zone for a long, long time so far this season. We've seen the total drop from 2.5 to 2.25. It might head back there based on where the juice is, and wouldn't really be surprised if it kind of vacillates between those numbers. In terms of the home underdog, it's been +1/4 since I've been watching it, and Nottingham Forest is going to have to go prove that they can score goals away from home, which I don't believe they can do. I'm more interested in the under than I am in the home underdog, but it correlates, and I'm concerned about trying to take a stand on a team that's been playing so badly like Wolves have all season, change managers and such, but fading Nottingham Forest as a road favorite is something I am very interested in. Arsenal then hosts Brentford in a battle of London neighbors. I wouldn't call them rivals, but we'll see what others around would say. Currently, Brentford 1.25 goal underdogs. All the juice on the home Arsenal favorite. Total in this one is 2.75, and it's juiced pretty heavily to under. So this one was 1.5. It's fallen to 1.25 and kind of been moving around those two type of numbers. Don't see a key number between that. So if you'd like 1.5, wait for the underdog. If you like the 1.25, play Arsenal, I guess. Total in this one has been 2.75 this whole time. More juice has come in on the under, but then it's I've seen some over bets since then. I'm not really a believer in anyone scoring goals against Arsenal. Brentford are going to do their best to try to score goals through long set pieces that are not corner kicks. They're not good at those, but the long throw-ins have been awesome for them. But it's different away from home. It's harder to do, of course, and it's going to be a really, really tough time going into Arsenal. Now, the defense is going to be the biggest question. The total is pretty large, 2.75. We haven't seen that with Arsenal in a while. But I think that's a really great time to get involved. Brentford will likely try to be as competitive as possible by defending and trying to take one of their few set piece chances. Arsenal certainly want set pieces themselves. The college basketball theme or theory is you want to press a pressing team. So you probably want to set piecing team, a set piecing team. I don't consider that to be the big concern here. I think two teams that are really good at scoring set pieces probably have a little bit more practice defending them. So we'll see how that ends up going. To the nightcaps, multiple on Wednesday in this later window. Liverpool 1.5 goal favorites at home to Sunderland. All the juice on Sunderland away. Total is 3 in this one. Juice pretty heavily to under right now, -112 versus -104. And where has this number moved? So that one I'm interested to talk about. We've seen Sunderland 1.5 goal underdogs this whole time. It's gotten a little bit more expensive, actually. And we've seen a little bit more money has come in on the under. That all, I think, reflects my interest in betting Sunderland. My pause or my question this one is that Sunderland are not used to playing multiple matches in a week. Liverpool certainly are in Champions League. But there's a big number here that Sunderland get to play within. They're going to play a defensive brand. They're going to try to keep Liverpool from scoring. I love the counterattacking they've shown, and Sunderland have been a godsend to anyone's bankroll who's been betting the English Premier League so far this season. For all those myriad reasons, I think Sunderland are certainly worth a look. I probably like the side more than I like under, but they both correlate. I think we could see a 1-0 Liverpool win, and you get paid pretty well for that on the Sunderland against the spread and the total. To the Wednesday last matchup, we get Leeds, and they are hosting Chelsea. Leeds are a 3/4 goal underdog with all the juice right now at home in what should be a pretty big crowd for Chelsea coming in. Total in this one is 2.5 and juice very heavily to over. In terms of movement so far in this matchup, we've seen Leeds climb from a 1/2 goal underdog with a lot of juice on Chelsea to a 3/4 goal underdog with a lot of juice on Leeds. That's not surprising. Total in this one has climbed from 2.5 to still being 2.5, but we've seen juice rise. So some Chelsea money has come in clearly to tip them from a 1/2 goal to 3/4 goal favorites. And then the total has climbed a little bit, not too much in my opinion. And this is a big question for Chelsea. Certainly they're used to playing multiple matches a week. Leeds are not. That's a problem. But Leeds are a really good home team, and Chelsea have shown that they're really good against the best clubs across England, Europe, all those sort of things. But they've kind of struggled to take care of business, and they're a pretty big favorite, having to win by multiple goals right now based on the 3/4 goal underdog right now offered to the home team. So I lean to the home team and to under. I don't know that we see Chelsea dominate this game as much as the line suggests. The only match we have on Thursday, the last one of the week that I'll cover on this episode from the English Premier League portion, we have Manchester United, a 1.25 goal favorite at home to West Ham. Total is, and this one is 3, juice very heavily to over, and a lot of juice right now on the West Ham side in terms of how this number has stacked so far. We've seen some money come in on West Ham. We've seen the total drop from 3.25 to 3. I imagine we'll be vacillating between those type of numbers as we move forward, but a very juiced over 3 right now. It's just not something I really see. Manchester United have been playing well, been playing better. West Ham have also improved, and they're going to come in with a very conservative defensive mindset. I like that setup for under probably more than I like it for the road team to score goals. Certainly above a goal of insurance is very interesting to play against the Manchester United team that I don't still believe in, though they've gotten some good results so far this season. I think biggest interest for me in this one at this point is under 3 goals, more so than the side, as I just don't really trust West Ham to go into Manchester United score a goal. Certainly lose 1-0, and that would be good for side and total, but I think under 3 is my biggest interest in that matchup. Now, for the ultimate best bet portion, the nominee from the English Premier League side of things, I think I'm pretty interested in Aston Villa seeing a low-scoring matchup there. And I got to say, I mean, Tottenham are of interest. I would love to see a 3, though, and we don't have that yet at this point on this episode. I think, man, this is tough. I don't want to come back and change this later, but I may, just based on trying to get my best bets all on the same day. But I do think that Burnley is going to see a low-scoring game. I think Wolverhampton Wanderers and Nottingham Forest, that is what looking to me like a very, very tight to the vest relegation battle. I'll go under 2.25 in that matchup. Wolverhampton Wanderers hosting Nottingham Forest. We'll now move to La Liga in Spain. We have a couple of matches that are played from the Cup winner, runner-up, league winner and league runner-up of last season, because they're going to some oil money country for the Super Coppa de España to start the new year. Barcelona currently 3-quarter goal favorites on Tuesday at Atletico Madrid. The total in this one, I'll say the juice is very heavily on the Atletico Madrid side. Total in this one's 3.5, and it's juiced pretty heavily to under here. Atleti have been improving from a really poor start to the season because they were horrible then. Barca, to me, are just not trustworthy defensively because of that high line that I think has been figured out. Results have been better for Barca lately, but I just not sure that I still trust them to win by such a lopsided amount. At half of a goal, I probably will let Atleti slide, but the 3/4 goal underdog, I like that there. I have no real interest in total in that matchup. Moving to Wednesday, we'll start with Athletic Club. That's the only match that we'll cover on this episode before the weekend's Friday episode. We'll cover the entire weekend. But Athletic Club, 3/4 goal underdogs at home with all the juice to Real Madrid. Total in this one is 2 3/4, and it is juiced more to the under by about 4 cents. Athletic Club have just really struggled with injuries so far. They've not balanced Champions League and La Liga well at all. I don't really expect that to change much. I got to say, I think this is going to be a really lost season for them, and they're going to really struggle to stay in Champions League. That's looking horrible so far, but also trying to qualify for a Champions League place looks really dangerous at this moment too. In terms of movement for this number, we've seen Real Madrid money come in. That's not a surprise. I expect we should see that probably as we keep going. And this one pushes towards a full goal underdog on Athletic Club's side. That would be probably a buy price for me. It's above the number that I'd made it. It's still cheap right now, and I think reflects a quick turnaround and playing in San Mamés, though it's not been the most difficult place to play, I must admit. I would expect to potentially see the Athletic Club side play a really conservative game, try to keep Real Madrid out and try to use their counterattack. I just don't know the status of the Williams brothers ever. It seems like a surprise whenever Nico Williams starts. Inyaki's been hurt for a while, and that's really how Athletic Club score goals. So that's a big problem. Lean to the 3/4 of a goal, lean to under 2 3/4, but they're not strong leans at this point. Probably stronger than my Atleti feeling though. So I'll put Athletic Club Bilbao plus 3/4 of a goal underdog as my biggest interest in La Liga's short, brief 2 match jornada, or early antes de jornada, whatever we're calling it, to start this season. Want to make sure that I'm not skipping, and anyone that's live viewing late night has not commented on some audio problems. So we'll keep going along. We'll now move to Coppa Italia in Italy. We'll move to Tuesday matchup, which we should have Udinese and Juventus. Certainly, Juventus are the bigger club here, 1/4 goal favorites at home with almost all the juice. Total in this one is 2 3/4, juiced pretty heavily to under right now. I don't really see Juve being this big of a favorite to anybody. I mean, they've changed managers so far, and that certainly helps them, but bigger price than I made it. Total's higher as well. Certainly reflects a new manager coming in and finding some offense that Juve were not finding earlier in the season. I'll lean to the under probably more strongly than to the side, as Udinese, I think, there's more goals here with the under, of course, than there is with the side. I don't know that I feel great playing unders with Udinese, but at this point, I do feel like they can play a competitive matchup, and I just worry that Juve might get a late goal, which certainly late goals are not a reason to stay away from potentially fading a big favorite, but that is currently how I'm feeling at the moment. Move now to Wednesday, Atalanta hosting Genoa. Currently, Atalanta a 1-goal favorite, more juice on Genoa away. Total is 2.5, and this one juiced very heavily to under. Atalanta have changed managers after Ivan Juric was a horrible hire. Doesn't fit what they are, who they want to be, or anything like that, but some of the managers' decisions out there are just laughable, and that's why we bet soccer, because we can make money off of it. With that said, Atalanta should be better offensively. I just don't trust it, and Genoa cannot score. So rather than playing the 1-goal underdog, under 2.5 is a much bigger interest for me in that matchup in the Coppa Italia. We'll move to the later on Wednesday of Napoli hosting Cagliari. Currently, Napoli 1.25 goal favorites. More juice on Cagliari away. Total in this one is 2.25. Juice more to the over by about 10 cents. And it's just these numbers for Napoli are honestly, they're almost hilarious at this point, seeing how low these totals are. But Cagliari away from home, they're going to defend and not really even throw anything forward. My biggest concern would be, what do they use in terms of a lineup here? Because this matchup doesn't matter. They're worried about staying in the league. keeping a Serie A position and not getting relegated. And those are all things that they, I think, are much more concerned about. I'll lean to under 2.25 in that matchup, more so than the side. I honestly am curious what Napoli put out there too, because they've really struggled with depth despite adding a lot of it in the transfer market towards the end of September or August, whenever that window is closing. Moving to the nightcap on Wednesday of Inter Milan hosting Venezia. Currently Inter, a 2.25 goal favorite to a Serie B club. Right now, all the juice on Venezia, 2.25 goal underdogs. That's usually as big as the total will be. Total in this one is 3, just more to the over. And I would expect a low-scoring matchup here. That's my biggest interest there. Get an extra 3/4 of a goal, because clearly not a lot is expected of Venezia's team total to score here. But Inter, do they name their price? Do they name the amount of goals they score? Those are all concerns for me. I think at this point, Venezia under 3, my biggest interest in that matchup. The last one of these quarterfinal round, Bologna hosting Parma. Currently, Bologna just 1 goal favorite right now. 2 cents more juice on Parma away. Total in this one is 2.25, just 2 cents more to the under. Parma, not a great goal scoring team. They're going to go and defend. I expect them to try to score, but I don't think that they'll have much success. Bologna are much better, much more talented, a balance playing multiple matches in a week with Europa League, but did play on Monday. I think that's why we're playing this matchup on Thursday morning here in the United States, but 5 or so p.m. in Italia. I think Parma of interest because they've played earlier. That's a huge benefit to them. I just don't know that I trust them to score goals, so I'll lean to the under 2.25 probably more strongly than the +1. Though I do have some interest in a full goal of insurance, to say the least, especially in a cup match, which sometimes can go a little bit crazier. In terms of best bets in this matchup, I just don't trust Atalanta to score goals at this point, so I'll go Atalanta and Genoa under 2.5 goals. And that brings me to the DFB Pokal, the German cup competition, which it's hilarious how they say the Germans don't really do great with jokes, and they're kind of not the most sensitive people out there. Don't know if how long that runs in the history of the Germanic tribes, but it's funny. They basically put everyone, no matter when you played this weekend, you're playing Tuesday and Wednesday, and you're playing an extra cup match. There's no extra leeway or anything like that for you to get some extra rest or anything like that. It's just not going to happen. So sorry about it. You're playing another competition. Good for you. Figure out what to do. So Hertha Berlin, they are starting the match day alongside a all Bundesliga match. But Hertha Berlin of the Schweizer Liga, the second division, they are hosting Kaiserslautern. Currently, Hertha Berlin, a half a goal favorite, almost all the juice right now, or actually all of it on Kaiserslautern besides 1 penny. Total in this one's 2.75, just a little bit more to over. I've not been following Hertha, but they're one of the biggest clubs in Germany. Got relegated a couple seasons ago, did not come up last season. We'll see if they can do that. Kaiserslautern, I think, are pretty well known for their goalkeepers, so that makes me have some interest in under 2.75. I think Kevin Trapp came through there, if I'm not mistaken. That's probably the biggest interest I have in this point, is under 2.75 goals, though I just don't know enough about those. It's probably not going to make my card. Move next to Borussia Mönchengladbach hosting St. Pauli. Currently Gladbach 3/4 goal favorites, almost all the juice on St. Pauli away. Total in this one's 2.5. It's just more to under. I am still not a believer in Gladbach. I'll put it that way. They were bottom of the table, found their way out of it. St. Pauli have not been playing well, but were good in this competition. Did knock out TSG Hoffenheim, which is pretty important. Under 2.5 is of interest to me. I don't trust Gladbach to score goals. I don't really trust them to defend as much, and 3/4 goal favorites makes me want to play against them. I don't know necessarily that I feel as strongly there. We've seen some money coming in on Gladbach since I've been tracking it, and some money that's come in on the under as well. We had 2.75 at one point. That is now gone, and looks like 2.5 is potentially hanging by a thread soon. But those things both point towards the road team playing a very energetic, intense matchup, but potentially not scoring goals, which has been their problem all season. Move next to Borussia Dortmund hosting Bayer Leverkusen, who I believe played this weekend as well. Dortmund half a goal favorites with all the juice. Total in this one is 3, juice more to the over. And Dortmund, I mean, they've been surviving with a lot of low-scoring matches of late, balancing Champions League, which is not great or not easy, though you can say the same for Leverkusen. The thing with Leverkusen is they're half a goal underdogs. I'm wearing a Borussia Dortmund kit right now, or at least whenever I bought in the team store when I was there a couple seasons ago, 3 seasons ago, I think now, when they got a late Yusufu Moukoko goal against Schalke 04, and now Schalke's in the second division, and Moukoko is playing in Copenhagen. Just hilarious how quickly things change. For my best bet in this one, I think I'm interested in Leverkusen, the half of a goal underdog. Though I certainly want to see lineups and how I feel about that one. Moving to tomorrow, still in the same window, I guess, because we're recording this. I guess it's still the 1st of December while I'm recording this live. Leipzig, 1 3/4 goal favorites to Magdeburg. Almost all the juice on the home Leipzig side. Totals 3 3/4, just a little bit more to over. And I have no belief or faith in Magdeburg holding up here, so I will skip that one entirely. Moving to Wednesday, VfL Bochum, a recent relegation to the Schweizer Liga. They're hosting Europa League team in VfB Stuttgart. Currently, Bochum a 1 1/4 goal underdog at home. All the juice on Stuttgart away. Total in this one is 3 1/4, and it's juiced more to under. I lean to the home underdogs forever. I don't know how much I trust Bochum in this one, I must say, though I do think the price is large. Stuttgart have been distracted by many things, but they want to win this competition, so that does make me think they'll play the best side they have. Next, we'll go to Sport Club Freiburg, hosting SV Darmstadt. Currently, Freiburg, 3/4 goal favorites with all the juice. Total in this one is 2 3/4, juiced all the way to over. I don't really know, besides just saying the DFB Pokal has different rules. I don't know how to expect Darmstadt, who were horrible in the Bundesliga a couple of seasons ago, for them to go into Freiburg, a really tough place to play, deal with their intensity and their physicality, and somehow come out of there with a good result. But 3/4 goal underdog does feel pretty fortunate, or at least supportive from the marketplace right now. I would expect this one to climb to 1 before kickoff. To the late window on Wednesday, last 2 matches, we'll go Union Berlin. They are hosting Bayern Munich. Currently, Union a 1 3/4 goal underdog at home. A little bit more juice coming off of a home draw to Bayern Munich to end their winning streak of winning the first 17 matches or so this season. Total in this one is 3 1/4, and it is juiced more to the over, as it should be in any Union Berlin, or any Bayern Munich match. I'm not so much a believer in Union scoring goals. That's my biggest concern. I believe that Bayern will score them. At this point, though, I think Union and under make a lot of sense, though it didn't in that recent Bundesliga matchup. I think I like the Union Berlin side 1 3/4 goals more than I like the under 3 1/4. And I'll certainly be waiting to see a +2 pop up on the Union side. They should feel pretty comfortable with how they're playing in the German Bundesliga so far. DFB Pokal is a huge competition in Germany, and everyone wants to win it. They usually play their best, even if they are just trying to stay in the league, like Union trying to do. And I think Bayern Munich have not won the DFB Pokal in a while, and it's been an important thing for Vincent Kompany to try to get going. So should have best lineups there. That's probably not great because you'd want Union to potentially take advantage of maybe less interested Bayern Munich side. With that said, 1 3/4 goal favorites on the road in a cup competition is asking a lot. I would like the 2, though, because if Union are down late, they're sending the keeper forward, and I would be very concerned about that late goal, the empty netter that unfortunately does seem to come from time to time. Last but not least, Hamburg hosting Holstein Kiel. Currently, Hamburg 3/4 goal favorites. A little bit more juice on Holstein Kiel at this point. Total is 3, just all the way to under. I just don't trust Kiel to really compete at this level. I think at +1, I'd have a little bit more interest in fading Hamburg because they've not been in a position where they've been a big favorite at all this season. It's what happens when you come up to the German Bundesliga after being in the Schweizer Liga for like 7 or 8 years, I think it was, or maybe even 15. I'm not even sure how long, but it's been a long time. Hamburg, one of the biggest clubs in Germany, and certainly I'm hoping they stick around because I want this league to be as competitive as possible. I don't think Holstein Kiel are really going to come close to my card until they're +1. Even then, might not actually make it. For the ultimate best bet from the DFB Pokal, the German Cup, I'm going to go with Union Berlin, 1 3/4 goal underdogs. We'll certainly be waiting for a +2 in that one. And then I want to make sure no comments about the audio being a problem. Thankfully, it has not been. Knock on wood. Let's think of things we need to plug. Didn't do a college basketball episode this past weekend, but did one tonight on Monday, December 1st, getting you ready for the ACC SEC Challenge on ESPN, plus some early season Big Ten play at Big East Ben on the pregame.com podcast network. Have some good news about a new show coming up on pregame but want to get some clearances before I'm able to announce that. And hopefully we can do something a little bit more special for it. But stick around for, of course, the NFL podcast with A_Schnicker. We're recording that tomorrow night, Tuesday, December 2nd, getting you ready for hopefully a 3rd straight best bet winner, as I need a huge run to close out the season. But things have been better lately. Ignore the Giants and how they're performed tonight. Unfortunately, that +7 was staring at me for too long. The standalone matchup, couldn't resist. And pretty much the worst start that could have happened occurred. But, it was a really good NFL weekend. Steelers and Giants kind of crushed it, but 3-0 to start and then lost the last two. Still profited, but I'm going to try to keep that streak alive moving forward. Of course, football of the European variety podcast will be coming out all season on this Betting the Pitch podcast network, Apple Podcasts, and on Spotify. Leave 5-star reviews and certainly leave some comments, and that's huge for the search rankings. Had 2 new YouTube subscribers at the @real_G Warner come out of the woodwork. Thank you for coming in. I feel like they stopped notifying me of what the accounts are when they actually come in. So I'm going to check to see if I can find that. But I don't know that I'll have that, unfortunately. Let's see. Passkey, great, because it's forever having to prove it's myself trying to log into my email. I guess better than getting hacked. Let's see. We have, just tell me I'm doing it live. I don't seem to get any comments about the who's the new subscribers are, or I would shout you out. Or if you are new, feel free to make a comment and I will shout you out the next time. 5-star reviews are also great, plus any sort of commentary on any of the podcasts. But soccer stuff coming out. College basketball came out tonight. NFL tomorrow. And of course, more throughout the season. Stick around and you will enjoy yourself. Hopefully, I'm looking forward to that. For the ultimate best bet on this episode, which will come out as a reel on Instagram at the @real_G Warner and on YouTube at the @real_G Warner. Same name, same different channels. Let's go with the Wolverhampton Wanderers under 2.25 goals hosting Nottingham Forest. I see a very thick 6-pointer relegation battle at the bottom of the English Premier League. Quick turnarounds from Wolverhampton, who have not been playing multiple matches in a week, though did fairly well in the Carabao Cup earlier this season in that type of scenario. 9-4 is more used to it, but I don't see where their goals come from. They've not been a goal-scoring team, even though they made Europa League somehow last season. They really were in a Champions League position for a long time. With that all said, it's getting too long. But let's go Wolverhampton Wanderers under 2.25 goals is the best bet. 12-6-1, 67% so far on the soccer action that I've caught up on, and I will be doing my best to catch up as much as possible now that I'm back in the Capping Command Center in Dallas, Texas. Hope everyone enjoyed the episode. Feel free to respond in comments, and if you leave 5-star reviews, it's huge. Anything less, don't even bother. But 5-star reviews would be huge, and just keep hitting that subscribe button on YouTube, and I will talk to you all quickly, soon, whatever it is, down the road, ASAP.
Recording stopped.